Jamal. Pierce is back. We missed you, man.
What's up? What's up?
He come around real slick like sometimes, Skip.
Listen,
He disappears and
I
then just
want
come
the
back.
same energy because when the Celtics, close out, and I'm not here to talk about
Close out what?
Close out
What
their
did they
series.
close out?
They closed out the
Who
series.
did they close out?
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, did they close out Donovan Mitchell or Jared Allen or Karis LeVert?
I was
Come
resting
on, man.
with them on the couch.
Come on, man.
During the closeout, sipping some Kool-Aid.
This is really about Minnesota. That's what it's about.
But anyway, man, listen. Y'all want to talk about Timberwolves. When I look at this,
Yeah.
I just think Denver got complacent. Think about this. If you Minnesota, you know you're back against the wall when they go home. You're at home, you're comfortable. But when you beat a team 3 times in a row handily and you pretty much dominated them, you probably go in there thinking, like, once again, this is probably going to be a little easier. So you get a little complacent. That's what I saw from the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray, I didn't even recognize him. I don't know where that player. As a matter of fact, I haven't recognized Jamal Murray all series, but in spots.
Agreed.
Truthfully, because this ain't the Jamal Murray we saw close out the Lakers, win 2 games, at the end. That's not him. And so I just got to believe that in the pressure situations, which we saw him come through, and I'm confident in him in a Game 7 at home to come with his A game, because this has not been his A game series at all. I don't know if it's the elbow. I don't know.
He's
like
got
you
the
said,
calf
he's got the calf pull and everything. But Denver is a great team at home, 14-3 in the playoffs over the last couple of years. But ironically, 2 of those losses came to Minnesota in the series.
Yep.
And so, you can kind of have some kind of like, you could be optimistic about the Timberwolves because they're the only team in the last 2 years that's beat them a couple times out of 3. But I just believe the defending champs are going to put their armor on for Game 7. I believe Jamal Murray, Porter, good win. These guys are going to come together, understand the moment, and they're going to come through. Now, Jaden McDaniels, he had 21 points. That's the ultimate X factor, but they didn't even need his 21 points yesterday. Truthfully, because they went on a 20-0 run to start off the game, and it was just like the game was over in the first quarter. Just when I thought Denver was going to come out and just put it to them, I thought the Timberwolves was going to lay down when they came out to start the game 9-3 or 9-2. And I thought they were going to lay down. They came out, punched them first in the mouth, and I was like, oh, this is going to be over.
Yeah.
And then right after that, it was like a tsunami came.
It was a tsunami.
It was like a tsunami from Minnesota. So,
okay, you've seen this happen before in playoff series, but it's rare that you see it in a Game 6 leading to a Game 7, where sometimes it happens in Game 1, where one team gets destroyed and says, okay, watch this, and climbs back into it the next game. But this was Game 6 leading back to a Game 7 in a place you've won twice in this series, right?
Complacency got stuck with them. They got complacent. They're like, we win, but we still got this in our back pocket, this home game, which we played all year long for an opportunity to have a home game on our home floor in a Game 7, which is what you want in any series. So I blame that on complacency because these are the defending champs, and I haven't seen them look this bad since Game 2, actually. This is the second time in the series.
Okay, so you're still Denver in 7.
I'm still Denver in 7 in a close game. I just think their experience is going to carry them through.
All right. I know the man across from me does not love the Denver Nuggets because he doesn't love the head coach, and I don't blame him for that because I'm not a big fan of his either, or at least the way he handles himself.
Well, it's just not about Mike Malone and the head coach. It's about the Denver Nuggets as a whole. I'm not a fan. I'm a Laker.
I understand.
That's just what it is.
I get it.
However, I can be objective in these situations, and Paul's saying the experience is going to get him, yada, yada, yada. I've heard experience on several series in these playoffs. Experience. It's tied right now. They getting ready to go back to Denver. We talk about complacency, Paul. That big man, the number 1 gun was 9-19 from the floor. That's not complacency. That's a defensive effort put in by 3 guys at Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert, and Cat. They just kept switching out on him, closing in on him when he touches the ball. They just didn't allow him. A few times he backed down and got his easy bunnies, but they made sure to blitz him at times and get at him and frustrating to the point where he's got 3 turnovers or he's got to get rid of the ball out of his hands, kick it to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, on the other hand, was 4-18, 2 of 7. That's not complacency. It's just not. Okay? The 20-0 run.
A 20-0 run.
We created that. We, meaning meaning Minnesota, created that 20-0. It wasn't complacency that gave them that. Okay? They whatever you want to call it, back against the wall, must win, all of those sort of things. Yeah, that's true. Because if they lose, they go home. And if that effort is the best effort of this series was at home and they beat them by 45 points, I think they take that all day long.
When I see somebody go on a 20-0 run, that's like almost impossible to do.
It is.
Like, that's
but no,
like,
it is.
Get to the free throw line, something.
But guess what?
I agree.
But Trip, whenever they would go in transition, score. Now Denver gets the ball, come back down. They miss a shot. They miss a shot. They try to hit.
Settle for threes.
They settle for threes. They miss a shot. They create a turnover. They created that turnover on the 2-hand dunk by Edwards on the fast break points. They created that. That wasn't complacency.
Look at this.
That's not complacency, though.
Look, this is supposed to be a dribble handoff. You just lazily throw it.
He tried to dribble handoff.
No, but it's like you just lazily threw it.
But when
then you don't get back. It was just like they gave up. Look at this layup by Jamal. Like, what is this?
Yeah, but that's not complacency,
this is like, look at this. Look at this pass.
That it was actually tipped.
There was no, like, urgency in nothing they do. Look at these shots he's missing. Like, those are shots I see Jamal Murray make.
Well, we'll get to him about why he was missing. However, Skip.
Like, look at this. And nobody getting back, just jog. Oh, y'all go ahead. We got one in the bank. We're going to go home and, let me just cross over and turn it over, like, not get back again. Well, I mean, they didn't get back on defense. Look at it. Look at this layup.
Can't make excuses.
What was that?
Hey, Paul, can't make excuses for everything. Got to get some credit.
Like, what is that? It was just like, it just didn't seem like after the first 2 minutes that they was like, let's get the series over. Like, it just looked like it was just kind of like lethargic. And
maybe that's Denver all playoffs as you think about it. It's not like they were the same playoff team from a year ago, Skip. They're different. And on top of that, they ran up against somebody in Ant-Man.
Yeah, for sure.
That said,
I mean, I don't want
to I don't care what y'all say. I'm up here with my tank top on, and I'm finna do something to them. I'm gonna do something to them. I'm gonna knock down threes. I'm gonna give them 14 points in the first quarter. I'm gonna have 19 at halftime, and I'm gonna show y'all I'm for real, and I'm taking it for real. And I'll see y'all ass back in Denver in Game 7. And guess what he did? Like I told you yesterday, Skip. When athletes focus in and lock down, as you know, the Michael Jordans of the world, the Kobe Bryants of the world, those type of guys, that's what you got out of Ant-Man.
Yeah, I will give them credit, though.
You got to.
It wasn't all just Denver.
By the way, Keyshawn, when I said yesterday it wasn't that big a deal that as Ant-Man left Denver the other night, he was going back and forth with an arena worker about blah, blah, blah. And then he said, he said last night, I'll see y'all MFs next time. We'll be back for Game 7.
I like
Absolutely.
All right, so you said that was a big deal to you because that's how you would handle yourself, right?
Because when you getting people chirping at you and it's cool because it's all within a friendly back and forth. It wasn't hostile, none of that.
No.
So as soon as that happened and I told you and Rachel, I said, he gonna come out on fire. Yeah. Because he has to.
Players like him, they feed off the littlest motivation.
Thing.
Okay. Well, that's Jordan-esque.
Yeah, they feed off of that. They look at that like, you talking? I'll see you back here in Game 7. They need just a little thing, any little thing they can just find, Skip. I'm telling you, them guys, them ones, that's them ones. Yeah. They need just a little bit of motivation.
But I got Minnesota in the end. I got them going back to Denver and repeating Game 1 and 2 combined against the Nuggets.
I don't know about that.
Because they dominated in Games 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I think the Nuggets were shell-shocked in 1 and 2 because they weren't ready for the onslaught because they've been playing against the no-defense Lakers. And all of a sudden, it's the #1 defense T-Wolves, and they just weren't ready for it. And in Game 3, Joker said, no, I got this.
Right.
Up at Minnesota on Friday night, and then that happened, and then that happened.
And remember, Skip, they was without Conley last time they was in
That's a good
Denver.
point.
You know what I'm saying? Even when they tried to double team Ant-Man and trap him in the corner, I don't know why he keep running to the corner, but trying to trap him in the corners, he just kick it out, they kick it again, swing it around to Conley, boom, he knocked down 3, we roll it.
Yeah. I saw a really good stat this morning. In Game 5 with no Mike Conley, Ant-Man had to touch the ball 102 times. Last night, Game 6, he dominated with low touch. He only touched it 64 times.
He was up by 30 the whole game.
But the point was he didn't need to initiate. And as he said after the game, I didn't have to like orchestrate it. I didn't have to make sure everybody got involved. I got involved.
I wanted him to bust him by 60.
Okay. I mean, you're up 20 in the first quarter.
I wanted him to bust a wide open skip.
So,
come on.
My history with this is, to Paul's point, especially when Minnesota's backups get in the fourth quarter, it's like, you better quit using those things up because you're just like making every shot, and the Magic's, you're not going to be able to take it. You're going to just use it all up in Game 6, and there's going to be nothing left for Game 7. Yeah, it won't travel.
That won't travel.
But I will admit to you, I was really impressed with the T-Wolves last night because they switched up their defense a bit. It was mostly Cat on Joker. With some help, as you point out, people are lurking all over the place.
Absolutely.
And then it was Ant-Man on Jamal. And Jamal hurt or stung his arm or elbow or something. He ran into a Gobert screen. It was on the second possession of the game. And he's wringing his arm and shaking his arm. I don't know.
That was just
a little funny bone action.
Yeah, that was a stinger.
Okay.
You can't blame that.
All right.
You got to shoot better because this ain't the only game you stunk it up.
But Ant-Man was all over him. Ant-Man said, "I'm taking pride. I want to." He said, "I want to be great on both ends of the floor." And that's the best thing about him is he cares about the defensive end already at a very young age, and he wants to dominate on that end as well as the other. That is also Jordan-esque. Again, Michael in his fourth year won Defensive Player of the Year, but you got to give him that. You got to.
Okay.
That's true. Defensive Player of the Year.
His fourth year is not even. His fourth year is not even complete yet, though.
Yeah.
What if he wins the NBA title, MVP, in the deal? Celtics, I get it. But
here we go.
All right. The first thing I need to see is him dominate Game 7 on Sunday.
Same
this
thing.
is it. Same
he
thing.
He can't have a Game 5.
He can't have a
repeat.
Game 5. Okay. So if we go back to the start of this game, these guys have made it clear from the start, and you can scoff at this and laugh if you want, but they all say that Jaden McDaniels is their barometer player. However he goes, they go. They need him to come up big. And you said, well, his points didn't even matter. It mattered psychologically to them for him to score 21 because, remember, Ant-Man after the game did the stand-up on the floor, and he made sure that Jaden is standing with him. He said, you come in here, too, because this man was special tonight.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
But even in the first quarter, he was 3 or 4. He had 7.
Yeah. He's not good.
It happened. And by the way, so what happened at the first of the game? During the 9-2 early Denver run, Jaden McDaniels had a 3 from the corner and missed it badly. And then right after the timeout, Joker turns it over. They get the ball back, and they give it to Jaden McDaniels in the far corner, same spot that he had missed in, and it wasn't the prettiest shot, but they said,
around and shot it. I was like, man.
Everybody said this was for them, the shot of the night, and it kind of rattled in, but it went in. And even Anthony said after the game, and Coach Finch said after the game, that was the shot of the night for them because once he's going, all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, here we go, man. And here they went. And as Paul said, to go 20-0, then it was 25-4, and it was just like ridiculous.
Yeah, it was
that's
out there. It was out there like a.
I wonder what the stat is on teams going on 20-0 run. Like, do you know how hard that is?
Yes.
Like, you could just easily come down, give it to Joker, he can get fouled, get 2 points within during the run. But they just lackadaisically turned it over.
A couple times they couldn't even get the ball across court.
Jamal misses shots he normally makes. And I just don't see that happening.
And that may be
Denver.
true. It probably won't happen in Denver.
And those shots, like that McDaniels shot, that shot that he took, he's not going to take that shot in Denver where he just turns around, steps to the side with the defense on him, and take it. Because if he missed that shot, and the crowd get into it, and they take a break and get a dunk from Aaron Gordon or something, that's going to be bad right there. So, I love what Anthony Edwards doing at a young age. He's setting the tone, and I love his attitude. I love everything about this kid. Mike Conley obviously was a key. But to me, for Denver, the key is Karl Anthony Towns, period. Like, he played good defense yesterday, but he can't go for 10 points and 13 rebounds in Denver and think they're going to win.
No, I agree.
He only
you know what I'm saying?
20-something minutes, though.
I get it. But they need his offense because you're not going to get this Jaden McDaniels type of game. And I always say that your role players can win you a game in the series, but the stars have to do the heavy lifting. And so now it's on Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic to come home and do what they got to do. We're going to see a true MVP come out again because we didn't see him this game.
No.
The MVP going to come out. Please believe that. Because to me, Joker has the highest IQ in basketball. He saw what they did in this game. He's going to look at this and be like, all right, I'm going to see how I can be effective now. I saw where they threw the double teams at when I was at the elbow. Okay, Jamal, instead of going back door, I need you to cut off this time. It's going to be a lot of conversations like that today.
Yeah.
And they're going to make the adjustments to Jamal, going to get some easy shots. He's going to start looking more at his mid-range because I saw the mid-range was open for him at the free throw line. So I think he's going to go back to that like he did in the Lakers series and stop shooting those kind of fadeaways in the corner. You know, he's going to that. His runner's going to fall. So I have no issues with Denver giving out a stinker yesterday, but I feel like they have a bounce-back game in Game 7, and ultimately the role players will play well at home and they'll win.
Okay, but you must admit, the T-Wolves, when they're right, when they're locked in and locked down, nobody plays better defense than they play because they have all the tools to play defense with, starting with Anthony Edwards on the perimeter against Jamal. So I'm looking at what Denver did last night. They missed 60 shots. Think about that. That's hard to, and they had their worst shooting percentage of the year by far. They shot 30% from the floor. 30%.
I mean, once they couldn't stop the bleed in the first quarter,
that was
they lost interest.
They opened up the floodgates of the heartbeat on them.
They scored 70 total points.
Yeah,
70
worst in franchise history.
Yeah, come on, seriously? In a playoff loss, yeah.
Yeah, once they lost interest at halftime, Skip.
Okay, so
yeah, but but that's the thing though. They lost interest at halftime. The reason they lost interest at halftime is because they jumped on them.
They had that wild card in their back pocket.
No, that's true.
They're like, we going home. Don't worry about it.
But you take that chance in that wild card in your back pocket, Skip, and you mess around in Game 1 and 2, come and get you. You going home.
Yeah,
they understand that.
So
well, they better.
So the irony of Joker being 7 feet tall. The key piece to his arsenal that makes him unguardable is when he shoots those rainbow threes, because then you're like,
he was 0 for last night.
0 for 4. That's what I'm saying. That at home, he has to make 2 or 3 of those just to keep everybody honest, because that's what takes the heart out of you. He
was
steps
up on him, though, when he was shooting. I think he only had one clean look where he just was standing there by himself.
Right.
Everything else, they was up on him.
Okay, and their X factor is always Michael Porter Jr., who shoots you guys in the heart every time. He just, LeBron said on his podcast the other day, he just like on radar lock against the Lakers. What was he last night? He was 1 of 6 from 3. Well, you're going to lose, right?
Well, I mean, you can live, like Michael Porter Jr. had a game, he had 4 points, they won. I mean, they got a number of X factors because Aaron Gordon, he can be an X factor.
He can be.
KCP?
Can be.
Can be.
Yeah.
So
but you know what?
One guy for them.
But they're starting to feel like, to me, Joker or bust as far as dominant. Like what happened in those 3 straight wins, it was just, we come in here saying, that guy's he's the best player. Like he's unstoppable.
To be dominant when, this is the thing, Skip. You know what really opens up Joker? When Jamal Murray starts coming off those pick and rolls and them dribble handoffs. And he's hitting those floaters, and he's hitting those mid-range jumpers. Yeah. So now the defense has to adjust. So now you're leaning more toward Jamal to where you're leaving Joker open in the middle. So when Jamal starts missing those shots coming off the pick and roll and dribble handoffs, they're like, oh.
But why is he
stay home? We can stay home.
He
we can stay home a little more on Joker. We can stay home a little more on Joker in the middle now.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the key stat of the game to me is 2. Because that's what Joker had in assists. He had only 2 assists. Against you guys, he was averaging 10 a game. 10 a game.
Yeah, Jamal, look at them.
Somebody else has
Jamal
to cash.
Murray come
got to cash.
This open shot.
Okay, got to hit that shot.
He should have had about 15 assists last night if Jamal Murray make those shots.
Yeah.
That's where all his assists went to Jamal Murray's misses.
All right.
Jamal Murray come up and hit the against the side of the backboard. Like, what was that?
So,
what was that?
So here's the craziest thing to me. Rudy Gobert just won his 4th Defensive Player of the Year, and yet you're telling me that the best defender on Joker is Karl Anthony Towns? Well, wait a second. How did that guy...
little heavier in the rear end.
Okay, a bit, but I think Karl Anthony is quicker-handed.
Yeah,
like he moves his feet quicker.
It's harder when you watch Rudy Gobert on Joker at the top, and he's backing him down. He's just backing him. Before you know it, he's underneath the rim.
Yeah, his shoulders.
That's Karl Anthony Towns got a little more
weight
to him, so
he does.
It's a little harder by the time he's still doing that. Now, all of a sudden, they bring a second guy over there, whether it's Rudy Gobert or whoever,
Yeah.
Joker got to give up the ball. And like Paul is saying, whoever he's giving that ball up to, they missing shots.
Yeah.
And as long as they keep doing that, they're going to win the game.
Karl Anthony bothers Joker on the uptake where he's getting hands on the ball because he's just quicker with this.
Yeah.
You know, he's got more forward to him than center to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with Gobert, it's about his presence more than saying, he's the defensive player of the year, but his presence. So on every team he's ever played on, they've been a top defensive team.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you'll drive in there and you'll see him and you won't even take the shot. So that says something about the presence of a defensive player. Also, his help side defense.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't actually mean that I can guard somebody one-on-one, especially a player like Joker. You know, he's probably the best. It's not even a problem. He's the best post player in the game. So that's tough to do. So to his credit, he does alter a defensive team anywhere he goes.
Yeah.
And that's why he gets noticeably gets votes for player of the year every year on the defensive side.
By the way, our man Lil Wayne yesterday defended in a social media post, he defended Gobert and made it very clear he's not a big fan of watching Joker play basketball, which you aren't either.
No, I am now.
You are now?
I wasn't before.
Yeah.
Because he was like just a plain potato.
Well, that's
there was nothing on it that made it. There was nothing. No sour cream, no. But it's still good. Potatoes is still good.
Okay. Wayne will be right here at 11:30 Eastern, as always, on Fridays, and we'll get him to go a little deeper into those two takes. But up next. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.